Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
All right, welcome into Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. It is a beautiful, beautiful loser Friday for the boys. No victory Friday. We lost on Thanksgiving. What is it, the 7th straight time the Detroit Lions have lost? 0-13 on that moon. I hate moons. Screw the moons.
Waxing gibbous.
Whatever that is.
That's so bizarre.
That is nuts. 0-12 and then 0-13. That is wild. Appreciate all of you guys locking in with us, though. Here, beautiful Friday, day after Thanksgiving. My name is Booner. As always, got Matt Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter for the Woodward Sports Network. Lucas Klotz. Friday tradition on Woodward Nights. We got him in the TD booth today, and we've got Nick, as always.
Happy Friday, boys. Let's go. 8-3. Sounds a lot worse than 9-2, I'll tell you that. But go Wings. Massive win today.
Yeah.
Let's have a night, fellas. Kick off your weekend right.
Couple things on Nick real quick. First of all, we did the pregame show, and Nick was down at the Bullseye event group and in the thing down there. Sent us some great videos. Some of them blew up. Did a great job. Shout out Nick for holding that down. That was amazing. Also, I saw a video of Nick on Twitter or TikTok before the game. And he recorded a video at Ford Field going, Lions Super Bowl! We're getting Thanksgiving started with the win before the game. And it popped up on my For You page after the game. And I was like, oh, RIP to my guy. Nick,
yeah,
there were some comments about you.
Yeah, it was a really great day downtown. Besides getting, the win there, the Lions looked brutal. I know we're going to dive into it, but it was awesome to be a part of the Bullseye event group downtown. Great tailgate. Yeah, great tailgate, great food, great drinks, and got some really fun interviews. So shout out. Thanks for the
Detroit Mario. I learned actually at the dinner table last night, a little trivia, that today is the busiest day for plumbers.
I heard that too.
All the calendar.
Someone told me that the other day.
Detroit Mario, you're here on the busiest day of your year. You're here.
Yeah, I'm making a special appearance on Woodward Nights.
Let's go.
He unclogged the toilets in the back here at Woodward. He was working.
Before we get into all of it, can we talk about the Red Wings for like 30 seconds? Because we just got 5-2 over the Bruins.
Second regulation win or loss for the
Bruins in the season, and both were to the Red Wings.
They were, and I was at one of them.
Come on.
I was at the home game.
Well, they did it away without you, I guess.
They're legit. I saw Ryan Whitney tweet out. He was like, hey, this Red Wings team's legit. And when you start seeing guys, national media being like, hey, that means something's starting to turn a little bit.
Yeah.
So shout out to their Wings.
They're young. They're still figuring out. They're going to have games, some inconsistencies, but they are a good team. They're way better than I expected. Confer and DeBrincat both had an assist and a goal. I didn't watch the game, but I heard the DeBrincat goal, the away fan. DeBrincat with a huge steal and snipe really made it look good. There we go.
Shout out to DeBrincat too.
Fabry, Larkin, and Perona goal each. So
what did you say before that? Young, still learning. Young team.
Yeah, going to be inconsistent here and there, but a good team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds like another team here in Detroit.
Got all the familiar symptoms of a crackhead.
Hey, man.
2 massive wins back to back, beating New Jersey and then beating the Bruins after losing 2 tough ones in Sweden. So really good to see them bounce back.
Love it. Love it.
All right. Steve-O Baby said, Booner, why couldn't we have a Metallica on the halftime show at Ford Field? That would have been something.
Dude, that Jack Harlow performance live was probably worse than...
Bad.
It was so bad.
I'm a Jack Harlow fan, too. Like, I like his music. I'll listen, and I know a lot of his songs. But that performance, it was like someone who said, like, I don't even know. It was like they had a closet in the back, and they're like, hey, we've got some sheets. We've got some boxes. We need to make a set real quick.
All the stuff like during the game was just like tucked in a corner of Ford Field with like some sheets over it to like hide what was, but it was just like a
they
white
took the
blow
sheets
up.
And used the sheets.
It looked like shut out stick. It looked like blow up bounce houses that he was able to like walk. I didn't understand it at all.
And what made it worse was the Dallas Cowboys had Dolly Parton, and their setup for her was literally like a Super Bowl halftime show. They had the stage, they had the light, they had everything for her.
Like
and then Jack Harlow, they had nothing.
Yeah, I feel like Detroit's had good.
Do you remember last year's? They didn't even do it on the field. They did it like up in the. Nick, were you there last year?
I believe it was.
It was like in the corner.
Quinn 92 or Mike Posner.
Yeah, it was, but it was like it wasn't even on the field.
like
It was like up in the third level.
Stop
Weird.
it, Quinn.
No one could see it.
Quinn's a baller.
I like Quinn. I do.
Shout out Quinn. Yeah, I think it was. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about this. If you guys were wondering, we have a long show here. A lot of Detroit Lions stuff.
It's the same time as every other day.
Yeah. We do have a full segment of Michigan, Ohio State, the game, baby. I'm pumped about that. I want initial reactions here. The next segment we're going to obviously do, if you guys have watched Woodward Nights after a loss, or not even after a loss, but after like something where people start to overreact and get into all of these things, we usually do a segment where I would like to address the people and do the statement, or not the statement, what is it? The state of the Detroit Lions, the state of the fan base, the state of where everyone's at. We're going to do that at 8:15, but right now, I just want to get everyone's initial thoughts on this game because I thought, to be honest, Broder, there's a lot of things you can address. And before the show, the little walkthrough here that we have, it's like when you walk in the tunnel in a game and you walk by the opposing team. It's like me and Easy and Spenny, we all walk by each other. And in Easy, he always calls me a slappy, this, that. But the thing is, it's like I want to go into today's show. I'm going to criticize the Detroit Lions.
Of course.
There's things to be bad about. And yes, I have the path. The path isn't, there's always a path. And Spenny jokes around about that too. It's like, Booner, there's a path for everyone. That's the point of the path, is to keep for the people to like open your eyes. Like, let's look at the positives of the sides of there's still a path to get where the Detroit Lions have wanted to get, whether it's a playoff game, whether it's a division, or whether it's a conference or a super, whatever it is, there's a path. That's what the path has been. That's what it is. And we're going to stay on that. But I want to criticize the Detroit Lions today. We need to break down, how do we get back on this path? There's all these potholes. There's a bridge that's broken. There's detours. And it's like, all right, what are we doing here? And I'm going to go into it a little bit today, Broder.
Yeah.
But there's still the other side of it. And I'm kind of like Neil today. I'm on this side, too, to where it's, hey, if we're going to criticize, let's not criticize Jared Goff for, like, we can criticize him, yes, for these 2 or 3 games. Very well deserved.
100%.
But let's not forget he has 12 games before that,
exactly.
or earlier in the year, to where he almost broke an NFL record for not having a turnover.
His sample size of playing good is way better than playing bad as a Detroit Lion.
Or if we're going to criticize the defense, maybe we shouldn't just leave out the leader of the defense in the DC. This is the things to where it's like, yes, I might be a slappy at sometimes, but when I criticize, I'm going to do it the right way, and I'm going to actually break this down, and I will listen to everyone in here. I'll listen to, me and Lucas have had very civil conversations about this. I've had conversations with a lot of people in regards to this team, the defense, Jared Goff, the offensive line, what's going on with the coaching. We can all have civil conversations without overreacting and say, hey, season's over. Move on from Jared Goff.
Over.
The defense sucks. You can't win anything. Maybe the Vikings are going to beat us. We're going to do it the right way today. We're going to lock in, and we're going to actually break this stuff down and address a couple things, I think, within the fan base and the overreactions. That's my plan today.
Yeah.
Is that fine, Broder?
That's fine. You got the passion, baby. That's
Sorry,
fine.
I was going there.
No, I've been blown away by all the negativity today. Like, this is...
I had to remove myself from some negative thoughts, for some negative people.
There's a lot to break down. There's a lot to they haven't played well the last couple games. Even going back to the Chargers, where their offense played great, their defense didn't play so great. So it's not like they're playing their best football, but that doesn't mean this Lions team still can't do what we think they can do, still can't chase the Super Bowl, still can't make the playoffs, still can't win the division. They're just going through a rough stretch right now, a little bit of adversity, but adversity causes some men to break and others to break records. I think that's a Charles A. Ward quote. This is just one of those stretches. At least it's happening right now. They're 8-3 though. Like I'm not going to be all positive today, but like, man,
no.
I'm 8-3 after Thanksgiving. Let's go. I'm cool with that.
And people, and like, yes, it's a bad stretch of football. Welcome to the NFL. Welcome to sports. Every championship team has had a bad stretch of football. Every great team, besides maybe the Warriors or the Bulls back in the day, or the Patriots that went 16-0, have had bad stretches of football. And I have a list here in the next segment that I'm going to go down, Broder, that has probably 7, 8, 9 different teams and great football teams in the last 2 years that have had these stretches of football, and they overcame them, they learned from them, and they went and won a Super Bowl, or they competed for one. And that's where I'm at with this. And I love what Stick said earlier too in regards to this, Broder. Stick, like, kind of going at like kind of fair weather fans, or I can't remember what is some money something fans, whatever he was saying. New money fans. Yes. The analogy he uses, I came up with one just like it. It's like if you buy your girlfriend a purse and you get her a Prada purse, and then she opens it and she's like, don't like it, I want a Gucci purse. That's all this is going on right here. But then there's some people who are like, I don't want the purse at all, and I just throw it away. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm with Stick. Like what he has said, me and him sat for 2 weeks. I watched the Bears game and this Packers game with Stick. And we both sat there, and yes, they were ugly, they were bad. But like the Bears game, when everyone was saying how bad it was, they came back and won the football game. The Packers, like they put themselves in the hole, and we both sat there and we were like, gonna have those games.
Yeah,
it's a bad stretch of football.
It's a real thing. Learning how to be a fan of a good team is a real thing. Like there are certain expectations that we all have now. Now that we know the Lions are a legit team, and I know a lot of people jumped off the bandwagon today, but I do know that they're an actual good team. So you got to learn how to deal. No team in the NFL, except those Patriots a couple of years back, are going to win every single game, are going to blow out every single team, are going to beat all the bad teams on their schedule. That's what makes the NFL so great, the parity. The Lions, yes, they are going on a bad stretch, but they still got enough pieces on offense
and
to get
Can
there.
I address Easy before we do all this, and then I'm not going to talk about Easy the rest of the show?
Of course.
I'm not going to read his comments.
You got flip-flops on?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, good one. But Easy, he said Booner and Stick, 2 slap asses in a pod. Listen, Easy, this is the thing. I'm gonna go in here. We're gonna criticize today. I'm gonna have great conversations with Lucas, who me and him have argued about the lines before. We're gonna have great conversations. I'm gonna criticize, but at the same time, I'm not gonna jump ship just so my narratives get fit. From what I've said a year ago, I don't care about fitting those narratives. You've been on AG for 2 years, so you're gonna fit those narratives. And if you guys watch this show, do you know who does that a lot? Nick, you're gonna love this one. You know who loves to fit their narrative a lot, and they'll go out of their way to be wrong to fit their own narrative from a year ago? Pete Prisco. Pete Prisco did that. Pete Prisco picked the Packers to be great so far this year, and guess what he did for 8 weeks in his power rankings? He put the Packers in the top 10, which it wasn't true, and he put the Lions at like 18. So if you want to be the Pete Prisco and try and fit your AG narrative and the Jared Goff narrative and ignore things that you don't want to, so that's all I'm addressing, brother. I'm sorry. I'm starting to get heated again. I have to calm down.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm the one wearing a hoodie today, and you're wearing a T-shirt. It's okay.
How's Bula Friday?
Yeah,
that's a new thing.
Yeah, Nick, what do you think about the just state of the Knicks?
And you were at the game.
The
Nick
Detroit
at night.
Lions. You know, Ford Field brought it until all the energy was drained just from Goff fumbling the ball over and over and over again. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. It really isn't. I'm at a state where back-to-back games against the Bears and Packers, they did not look good. It doesn't give me extreme confidence going forward. To me, the Saints is a must-win game at this point, looking ahead to their next game on their schedule, because of how bad they've looked the past 2 games. Luckily, you were able to win one against the Bears. Got to win at New Orleans, or it's full-on spiral out of control. But I think they will, and I still got them winning the North. I still have them winning a playoff game. It's just I don't see the NFC Championship path right now, Booner.
Yeah, which I think that's fine.
tough.
I think it's very, very fine, to be honest, Nick. And that's kind of when we get in here at 8:15, we're going to go to break. When we get into the state of the Detroit Lions, we're going to talk about kind of the path and kind of the going to the NFC Championship game, the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about what's still kind of in front, and even if that's possible, because I'm not going to sit up here and lie to people and
don't do that.
Be as slappy as Easy would call me and say like, hey, we're still going to the Super Bowl, because it would be dumb to say that after the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I still think we got a chance.
If you're a top 4 team in your conference,
yeah.
I think you still have a chance to go win it. But it's like
they're not going to get there playing like they did these last 2 games.
We have to break this down.
No way. You're right.
Dan Campbell has to lock in and change a few things. Things got to get changed.
There's a preparation
thing.
thing.
Address some things, and he said it in his press conference too. It's like, hey, I've got 10 days to address what's going on. And whether or not we have the players to do it or not, we're going to lock in and do that. So I'm excited to see what they do. Let's go to break, though. When we come back, the state of the Detroit Lions. We're going to talk about it. We do this after every loss, every time people overreact. But, Nick, tell us about Big Boy.
Yes, sir. Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or their new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack or Santa Fe garden. Also, new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. Top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Outdoor Equipment Company, let's talk about it. The official equipment provider of the Woodward Sports Network. That is Michigan grown, family owned. Bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, snow X-Paws, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. You can buy it, you can rent it, 0% financing and delivery right to your doorstep. Right there, see it on the screen. Go to outdoorequipco.com. All right, welcome back, Woodward Nights, baby.
Young money.
On the Woodward Sports Network. I am Booner. As always, join Matt Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter. Michigan gear on today. Former Michigan Wolverine pitcher, southpaw.
We got a big game this weekend.
We do. I'm excited too. I can't wait to talk about that game, man.
9:15?
9:15. We're diving into it. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. Let's get the likes up a little bit. Keep this thing rolling. I want to read this. I see my name on this. So Just a Fan said, Booner spinning like a top. You can be a fan, but there is no spin to these last two games. Hey, Just a Fan, I'm with you. Last two games unacceptable, and we're going to dive into it. But just because they had a bad stretch of football doesn't mean the season is over.
True.
You need to get rid of Jared Goff. You can't take a look at maybe DC. You can't take a look at the defensive line, the secondary. There's things you can look at and you can break down here, which we're gonna do today.
Jesse Minter and Alan Park next year? What? Is that what you said?
Whoa! I thought you were talking about Robert Saleh and Allen Park.
As long as it's not Josh Giddey.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
He needs a
Keep
strong
that kid
defense
away from
for his upcoming.
Keep Getty away
trial.
from the Parks.
Yeah.
Just not representing the Aussies well, man.
He took Down Under to a whole nother level.
Oh my gosh, Broder. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get into it. The state of the Detroit Lions. This is big, Broder. I'm gonna go to you to start. What do you think?
Oh, hello. The state of Detroit Lions are they're still a team that can compete. They're still a team that can make a playoff run. The path, and you'll get into the path, but their path to the playoffs or their path to a high seed in the playoffs is more difficult now with these losses. The schedule doesn't look as easy as it did weeks ago. Like there are teams, especially going up against NFC North teams, that are going to play this team hard. We saw the Packers bring their A game yesterday. The Vikings, we got two more against the Vikings. What is it? One against the Bears,
Cowboys.
and then Denver.
Saints.
Denver's on the way up. The Cowboys are good, and we got the Saints. So the path there is not easy, but this team still has the ability. I do worry about the defense. I worry about the defensive line mostly. I worry about their cornerback depth. I like their secondary as a whole, but their cornerback depth really worries me.
Yeah.
Especially because it's paired with that defensive line. There's not one of the two that are elite enough to sort of balance out any deficiencies. The defensive line isn't getting pressure, which leaves the cornerbacks exposed. Cornerbacks aren't elite lockdown cornerbacks, so when even when they're locking the guys down, the quarterback just has way too much time. Nobody can hold them. So my thing, I'm still very optimistic about this season. The Jared Goff conversation, I know we're hitting on everything right now. Jared Goff conversation, which we're going to have next, it's a different conversation to me. A playoff run, this team currently, how it's built versus a contract extension. Two completely different conversations. I still am with Jared Goff. This is a bad week. And yes, I said week. These are two horrible games in 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
It's not the Jared Goff we've seen over his whole sample size. We'll say we'll start in 2022. He's been playing well. These turnovers, it is a little bit of the old Goff, but that means there was an old Goff and there's a new Goff. So I still have faith in him behind this offensive line.
Yeah, and I see comments about the Goff thing. We do have a Goff section next, but like, just breaking down this team, like this was a team that's supposed to be competing. They're going to win their division, right? They're going to go win the division. So. They're probably going to win 12 or 13 games. I want to go over some things here real quick, Broder. I want to look at some contending teams that people think are contenders, whether it's this year or last year, and kind of go like a stretch of football that they've had. Because at the end of the day, the Lions have played a bad stretch of football, correct, for 3 games?
Yes.
Can we all agree on that in the room?
I would say 4.
4 games. What was the record in that 4 games?
4 and 3 and 1.
Yeah,
3 and 1. Okay, and like
love it.
Contending teams have played bad football for 2-3 game stretches this year, and they have lost those games. The Baltimore Ravens, they lost 2 of 3 at one point when they had their bad stretch of football. The Chiefs right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, they've lost 2 of their last 3 games. And I know the context around it, like they do have players, they have things, but I'm just putting things in perspective here. The 49ers at one point this year, obviously with guys hurt, Debo, Trent Williams, but at one point this year when they were trying to figure things out, Brock Purdy was playing terrible, threw a pick in the fourth quarter almost in every one of those games, and had 3 straight losses. The Cowboys, they've lost 2 games in 3 weeks, and when they lost to the Cardinals, then within that 3-week stretch, they lost another game. The Eagles, they've played ugly football in the last couple weeks. Have they not? The last 2, I know they played against the Chiefs.
At the beginning of the season, the last half,
they played in 7.
The first half of the season, they were really shaky. The last half, they've been really solid.
Well, the last half, they won 2 one-possession games the last 2 weeks. They've had 7 one-possession games this year alone.
You can watch offensively. The Eagles are a different team, though. They were struggling offensively. This is what's the most important part of them. Their secondary looks a little suspect, which is why they're kind of like But they just got Kevin Byard, and that offense right now, like Jalen Hurts, even with a bad knee right now, is rolling.
Okay.
That's why it's like Philly at the beginning of the season you would have had me, but the wins that they've had, I don't think you can say.
And I want to go back to the last 2 years. 2 years ago, the Bengals when they went to the Super Bowl versus the Rams.
Yeah.
Let's talk about both of those teams and the seasons that both of those teams had. Bengals lost 7 games that year, and to end the year, they went 3-3 before they went to the playoffs. The Rams, they lost 3 straight games in the Super Bowl season that they won to the Titans and the Packers. 3 straight.
Can I counter?
And you can counter all you want, but like, and I get there's different. Every single one of these teams, there's different reasons on why they have different players that are great. They have different reasons. Everything has a reason. The Lions right now, they're going through a bad stretch of football, and it needs to be addressed at the end of the day, right? Like, I think that's the biggest point we all have to take away is it has to be addressed. The thing, what's going to happen is if it's not addressed, season's going to just plateau, right? Mm-hmm. If it gets addressed by Dan Campbell, the season will be fine. They're going to win the division. They're going to have a chance to win the playoff game. And the Booner path that we've talked about, that will still be alive because they addressed it. And when you address something like that, what happens? You only get better. You end up getting better and growing. You Lucas, you talked to me a lot in regards to getting that playoff experience. I know it's not playoff experience, but when you go through a stretch like this, that's when you start getting some experience to where it's, hey, you do have a young team. You're going to lose games. You're going to go through a bad stretch. This is the perfect time. I would rather have this right now than go through this in December and January.
That's very
so
true.
What's happening right now, we can overreact all we want, but if Dan Campbell responds to this, Jared Goff responds to it, AG responds to it, that's where things start. You start, like we talked about this process, a 3-year process, right? This is when the thing starts happening to where you finally have that team. At some point, you're going to have bad weeks, bad stretches, and you start learning. That's how you grow out a franchise that wins games consistently, as you go through these stretches and you learn from them. A lot of those teams I've named off, they've had bad stretches this year, and they're learning from them. They end up, and I know like the 49ers, they had that bad stretch. Guess what they did? Added Chase Young, got their players back. Different for the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell has to do it a different way. He can't go get Chase Young. Brad Holmes didn't do it. But at the end of the day, get Jonah Jackson back, address the offensive line, go address the defensive line. Maybe Bruce Irvin will spark a light under some of the core. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but I'm just saying it's going to spark a little fire under some guys and say, hey, listen, maybe you guys need to step up because he's won a Super Bowl. Yeah. He knows what it takes. And that's my point with this whole thing is I'm not going to sit here and as a fan, a listener, easy, whoever you are, if you want to hop off now when they're still trying to build and they're still a young football team, because we all will admit that, but we won't admit that they can still go out there and change things. Because guess what Dan Campbell did last year when they were 1-6? He went and he addressed what was wrong, he figured out what was wrong, and they finished the season 8-2. So now this is that bad stretch of football. Luckily for the Detroit Lions, it's not 1-6.
Yeah.
It's 3-1, and you played terrible football and still went 3-1. Now you address what you had to address last year. You change a couple things around. You learn from it. And then you go finish that 8-2 football like you did last season.
Yeah.
But this whole thing of like Dan Campbell, and shout out to Spenny, but he was like, oh, the vibes. Like Dan keeps saying, we have the players. But listen, the vibes, that is what's gotten this football team to 8-3. That is what finished last year 8-2. And Lucas, you can give me that look all you want. That is it, though. The Dan Campbell mentality, the way he's changed the program and the whole organization with that grit, that is the vibes.
My thing is I'm not concerned about the Lions getting.
I'm dying over here, by the way.
The Lions are going to win the division. I'm not panicking about that. The Lions, I still think, are going to win a playoff game. But in my opinion, obviously this is opinion, vibes can only get you so far in this league when there's teams that have elite talent that when they're winning games, that creates vibe. Like Philly, they got vibes.
They do, and they win.
They got vibes. Dallas,
can I ask you this?
Vibes. Detroit, they have vibes.
What's the reason? If you don't have the vibe, like Dan Campbell, that's his thing, right? People love him, right? Why would you say we don't want the vibes, we want the players when you can have both?
Because I'm not saying that, but where I'm the panic, where I think for a lot of Lions fans is now that when you got to go up against those teams, I think that it's going to be it's more easily to be exposed now if you're the Lions. Like, I think the weaknesses are shown, and I think a lot of the things, yes, they can come with coaching, but it goes just back to that fundamental personnel.
Yeah.
Back to what the Lions do against mid teams and okay teams, what you guys do good, we do great. And I think there's a couple teams around the NFC that can kind of do that with the Lions, and that's why I'm worried. I don't think the Lions are a bad team. I don't think anybody needs fired right now. I think people need to step up, coaching and personnel-wise. But I just think that it's not a Lions Super Bowl year, and that's okay. That's at the end of the day, that's okay, because what you wanted to come into this season was win the division, win a playoff game. I still think those things are going to happen, but it's just disappointing after yesterday because the vibes, quote-unquote, were surrounding potential Super Bowl, and I just think now it's clear that it's not this year.
Maybe it's not, and that's where I think this last stretch we were able to see some mistakes. And Lucas and Broder, I'll let you go here with the state of the Lions. But I just think if they address what they need to address, and we're gonna find out a couple weeks, like versus Saints, versus the Broncos, we're gonna find this out. I think if Dan Campbell addresses what he needs to address, like he did when we were 1-6 last year, I think things start to change. And there's gonna be I don't think people understand is they're a year ahead in their rebuild. This is a year ahead. So when you have bad games like this, it's like, no, you're good. I'm just this is like a learning moment, like for this team. These are young guys, but to go at people's heads, to go at people's jobs, to fire HE people, I don't know what you're doing, but it's just let this team go out there and learn. Like you were gonna have this stretch. This is a young team. You had a rookie left guard out there yesterday. Like this is all around just a young football team. You have a defensive line that you have one guy. So I mean, shout out the vibes too. By the way,
part of the difficulty that a lot of fans and even I'd probably put myself in that category. Say 8-3. I don't know when it started, but it's probably a record that some people expected the Lions to get to, but maybe they didn't expect them to lose to the teams they lost to. We beat the Chiefs, but we lost to the Seahawks. We beat the Chargers, but lost to the Bears. So it feels weird. It feels I don't think they're fraudulent, but it feels like you start questioning things like, man, which is the real team? I don't think the team we've seen in the last 3 weeks, and yes, that's including the Chargers game, I don't think that team can win a Super Bowl, but I think this team can. I think if you put how they played on offense against the Chargers with how they played defense against the Chiefs. A real gritty, tough game that opening weekend, only gave up 20 points, and how they played special teams against the Panthers or the Raiders, where they both had really good games, kicking and punting, and returning and all that stuff. That team can win a Super Bowl. There are just things that they need to figure. It is adjustments. The defense, they need to figure something out. I don't have the answers because I think there's some trouble brewing there, but I do think they have the type of guys who play with a chip on their shoulder that maybe and this isn't there's no stat to back this up or anything, but like maybe, and we were actually texting about Jerry Jacobs and something like this. Maybe this team and these guys on defense need to go up against a superior opponent to bring out the best in them. Like they play with the chip on their shoulder. They're overlooked. Like they need that good competition. That doesn't mean that's what you want your team to be, someone who plays down to your competition, but there's something about the psychology of these players that factors into this all. And I also think Dan Campbell needs to make some adjustments, not just his mistakes, calling the punt and whatnot, but getting his team ready on a short week. They came out flat. The Packers won that game from probably the very first play, that 53-yard bomb to Christian Watson. It was tough.
It was, and this is the thing. Before we get off the state of the Detroit Lions, the last thing I want to say is I'm just not a fan of the back and forth every week.
Yeah,
that's the only thing to me. It's and like I had these conversations with Lucas and Jet, like. You can have conversations about these things. Like we can really go at and we're going to go at Jared Goff. We're going to go at the defense, Aaron Glenn. We're going to go at all the players, like people on the team. But at the end of the day, it's like this is still really they're 8-3 football team, and I get you could say, oh, maybe the schedule, this that. Like you're still in a one score win league, like a league that you have to battle every week. Like and when people say that, some people might get mad. Like that's the truth. Like you could be like, oh well, they had an easy schedule. They're 16-5 in their last 20-something games. That is like a very big. That's a good sample. Like if you ask me in the NFL, 21 games is that's a full. That's a great sample size, right?
That's why when people are saying that the Lions, like, are we sure they're gonna win the NFC North? It's like, come on, guys.
What are we doing here?
I'm frustrated. Don't get me wrong. I was ready to jump off a cliff yesterday after that game.
I think we all were.
Never once did it cross my mind. Are the Lions going to lose the division? That never once crossed my mind. What crossed my mind is, like, are the Lions going to get killed in the playoffs, like in the second round? That's what started to cross my mind. That's where it's like the ceiling is like second, third round of the playoffs.
Okay,
the floor is a wild card win, in my opinion.
Thank you.
At the very least.
I agree with that too.
Being the favored team in the wild card wild card round.
I agree with that too, Lucas, because I think like what we saw yesterday, if they're playing like this is still a football team that can like if they're playing the Eagles in the second round. They're not going to just, in my opinion, they're just not going to roll over and lay dead. They're going to compete at a point. But it's just not like, but it's just not like you're not going to be favored. You're going to be a 6-point underdog. And that, like I'm saying, this current team right now. Now, like I said, if Dan Campbell comes out of this break, changes things. Remember, he's changed something the last 2 seasons. Coming out of breaks like this, I'm not saying he's going to fire anyone, but he's made changes. Whether that's he's going to move guys around, whether he's going to do that, he has 10 days to do it. I guarantee you, Dan Campbell will. I'm not saying he's
bring him
firing.
Home.
I'm just saying he is going to make some moves, whether it's move guys out of certain spots on defense.
I hope they make John Fox more of a decision maker.
And maybe they'll do that. But there will be things that get changed in the next 10 days. And you know what's crazy? I don't think I heard anyone talk about that today. About Dan Campbell making these decisions in this time. I listened to places outside of here. No one's talked about, hey, Dan Campbell has 10 days to go make decisions. He's done it 2 years in a row. I think he's going to do it again. Because that's what this is coming down to. And he's been great at doing it as a head coach of this football team.
He's matured so much over these 3 years.
He has.
I have faith in him. He's going to make more mistakes, by the way, but I have faith in him that he's the right guy.
All right, let's hit break. When we come back, I believe we have Jared Goff next. We're going to talk Jared Goff, the offensive line, the struggles yesterday. I'm going to tell you guys real quick about the Lions post-game show. If you guys haven't tuned in, it's always a great show. Even when the Lions lost yesterday, they take callers. That is Maz and Stick directly after every Lions game over on the Woodward Sports YouTube page.
Yes, and then when you're buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. So sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That's exactly what you do with the Mark White & Associates minute-by-minute listing agreement. So visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Woodward Sports' own Tom Massaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Just in time for football. Glorious. Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in the honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you are missing out. So smooth. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check them out online at www.canna.com.
Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate all of you guys locking in. My name is Booner. Matt Broder, Detroit Lions beat reporter and former Michigan Wolverine. We've got Lucas in the TD booth and Nick in the sound booth. Full squad. We got a full squad today.
Minus Jalen.
What is it?
Minus Jalen.
Well, I'm just saying we have 4 people in the room today.
Yeah, that's normally what you have to have a show
Yeah, when I say
here.
full squad, I just mean like the room's packed. I didn't think about it as being our full
I just
squad.
want to make sure, give love to Jalen.
Yeah,
Lucas
shout out
is elite.
Jalen too.
Lucas is elite.
Elite. He does. You've taught me a lot. Appreciate it. All right, if you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. Share the stream. Let's get over 50 likes here by the end of this segment. We're going to get into this one, though.
Get into it.
The offense yesterday. And I'm not even yesterday versus the Bears. I don't want to criticize them versus the Chargers because they were pretty good.
Offense was amazing against the Chargers.
Yeah, so this is really just, to me, this is just a two-game stretch. Jared Goff, 6 turnovers. What the in fuck? 2 games.
Yeah.
And I think it's just I put in perspective throughout the year, Jared Goff. I put this in the morning Woodward chat. And Lucas, I don't know if he liked it or not. He seemed pretty mad about it, or Jeff did. They got mad. Right now, Jared Goff, less turnovers than everyone's MVP, Lamar Jackson, and the same amount of turnovers this year as everyone else's MVP, Jalen Hurts. So two MVP candidates. Jared Goff has less or the same as amount of turnovers. I just wanted to put that in perspective. That's not me being. No, I'm just throwing that out there.
As long as you can, without getting into it too much, can we agree? Would you still rather have Jalen Hurts than Jared Goff?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as you don't just get a Jalen Hurts out of nowhere.
Okay, as long as we're just, I thought you were like, well, if
I put it in perspective that some of these guys around the NFL have these stretches, and for us to be like, okay, and this is, I want to put this in perspective for this whole segment as well.
Do it,
Broder. You agree with me? We talked about this before the show. I as well don't want to pay Jared Goff $50 million. I don't want to go pay him $45 million. If he, you know what I mean? Like, he's not at those levels, like the MVP, like to where every year he's going to be in the MVP talks.
Wow.
He can, like, I know but he can be. But he's not going. You're not like.
I have to clarify, since you did say that I agree with you. I have to clarify what I actually think, because I do partially agree with you.
Thank you.
I think he probably is a $45-50 million guy, but I think he needs to have the self-awareness that he is that guy because he's playing behind an elite offensive line. And if he gets $50 million, that probably means that they can't pay all their offensive line players. So there's got to be some give and take. That's what I mean.
Hard pass.
Yeah, that's just where I'm in, and I get that. And I've, in the past too, I've done shows with Easy to where we spoke about Jared Goff's contracts. And
also, Easy, we'll block the people in our chat. So just
did Easy block someone?
Chill, yeah.
Oh, you can't. Come on,
Sorry,
Easy.
moving on.
What are we doing here?
Also,
you can't take the heat.
Stay out of the kitchen. Booner.
Yeah, thank you,
on those two teams that those quarterbacks respectively play for, they do have the defense to back them when they do have a turnover. So I think that's why it is so critical for Jared Goff specifically. This defense can't get stops right now, so
that's a problem.
He really has to take care of this ball.
And we're gonna lock in on the defense because I have some things about this defense. The next segment in regards to that we like that. It needs to get addressed.
Yeah.
The defense is, I think, the number one thing on this team after the last 2 weeks. 3, 4, the defense 4 weeks, that needs to be addressed.
But the other thing I wanted to add on with what Nick was going to say is those quarterbacks, too, like, if Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson have to go down the field in 50 seconds, like, I believe they could do it individually. You know what I mean? Like, they could extend plays with their legs. With Jared Goff, I mean, he's done it before, but it's with the help of others. I think Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, all those guys that are similar in turnovers, they're able to make up for it, if that makes sense, easier than Jared Goff. And they do it more frequently than Jared Goff, too, at an elite level, in my opinion.
Yeah, and with the Jared Goff stuff as well, we've seen him put really good stretches of football together. And that's where I think we need to we all need to, and I think there's, I'm gonna say
it's just the bad is bad.
The bad is bad
because it doesn't look like it looks bad. Like it's not like
the last 2 weeks were bad.
Throw? It's like, dude, some of those fumbles, like,
but like
he looked like
I'm more worried about
Tim
that Packers
Boyle
game than the Bears game.
But like look at the Bears game though. Like even when it was the bad was bad, somehow, and I know you can't rely on this versus good teams, but somehow he still found a way to win the game. Like when he's good, he's good. And that's where it's like, okay, you got to pick and choose. And that's where I think a guy like Dan Campbell or, you have to have that offensive line around him. You have to have the weapons, which, a lot of people say that like it's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Like in this league, if you can have a quarterback to where you put the right people around him and you can go to win games with that, I think that's a good thing because of how hard it is to find a quarterback. Because all of you people who don't want to pay Jared Goff, I'm one that doesn't want to pay him $50 million. But if you want to get rid of Jared Goff and say, hey, guess what? Hey, Jared, sorry, we're not going to extend you. We're going to move on to Hendon Hooker. You know what's going to happen? What if Hendon Hooker isn't that guy? And you just re-sign all these weapons. You just re-sign this whole offensive line. You just built your offense through the draft. You just signed free agents. And then what happens when you're chasing a quarterback for 6 years? That's happened with teams.
But then on the other side of it, you can say you have now built a very quarterback-friendly destination where you're playing in a dome.
What are you going to do? Go get a Baker Mayfield like Tampa did?
No, but
how's that going to work out?
For example, like there's Kirk Cousins on the market, Aaron Rodgers on the market. I'm naming out quarterbacks that could easily, like that level of player, like there are quarterbacks that will leave their situation and go play for Dan Campbell, to play behind this offensive line, to have Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, like they're.
So you're guaranteed though. This is the thing I want with the golf people that hate him. Easy. I want do a homework report for me. Go get me the options to go get quarterback if Jared Goff leaves.
And I get
that's what I want. Because right now they're guaranteed to where he's played 12 games, stretches of football, to where he was one of the best in the league, and you went 16-4.
And I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying if he were to keep doing this, like it's just there will be options that pop up. It's the NFL. You know what I mean? If this was the Lions from 2008, that didn't have competent ownership, GM and whatever, then no. But at the end of the day, if Brad Holmes moves off of him,
and easy,
I'm not panicking.
Easy saying Hendon Hooker, Booner. Hey, easy. What happens if Hendon Hooker isn't that guy that you can go win with? Like, how do you know he's guaranteed to be that? And at the end of the day, Brad Holmes is in the building every single day, and he knows exactly if Hendon Hooker is the right man to take that over. And if Brad Holmes, someone who we all bow down to, which I love Brad Holmes, by the way, I trust him full-heartedly to where if he feels like Hendon Hooker is that guy, okay, I will take a step back. I'll say, let's do it then. I'm with you. But it's so hard to find an NFL quarterback in this league to where if you're going to sit here and be like, hey, I would rather have this Gucci purse than this Prada purse, that's where we're going to go different ways.
And Hendon Hooker may not be the guy, but you could argue his ceiling's higher than Jared Goff's.
Yes, because he can scramble.
That's the
biggest thing.
He's got a good arm too. You might be sacrificing a little bit of accuracy, but you're adding some other elements. And I'm not saying he's going to be as good, but his ceiling, like a potential.
Every Lions fan is praying that Hendon Hooker is that guy.
We
would all love to move on to Hendon
Brad
Hooker.
Holmes probably is too.
And have that guy that right now in the NFL, a mobile quarterback who can throw Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson. Like I can keep going. That's where, and Lucas said it in the back.
You can't because there's not many more after that. You can't keep going because that's the thing. They're special. They're special.
I don't even want like a mobile quarterback to like Lamar side. I want like a Brock Purdy. Like, and I'm not saying
That's
Brock,
fair
even
too, I
CJ
think.
Stroud. Like, just a guy who has the ability to make a guy miss, take a step back, roll out of the pocket, set his feet again, sling it down the field.
Look at Aaron Rodgers.
But
Like, he's
he's like, his pocket mobility is like the best of all time.
Who about Peyton Manning?
Sam Howell. Did you guys watch Sam Howell against the Cowboys yesterday? As far as just strictly his pocket awareness, that man was Houdini in the pocket.
Do you run out of tissues watching him?
Dude, I love watching Sam
He's
Howell
a
play
stud.
football.
Can I do something real quick? I told you guys I wanted to do this a little bit. I just wanted to go through some of these star quarterbacks where they got drafted. I wanted to do this on purpose because I don't know where at. Like, I didn't do these many people are in the first round. This is that. But I think I've heard someone do this before in the past. And looking at that,
Do it.
so I'm gonna list off some quarterbacks. And I want you guys to say first round. Just go round by round. Okay.
Okay.
Like of where they were drafted?
Just the round. Yep. Josh Allen.
First.
All right. I'm gonna just take a tally.
Yep.
Tua.
First.
Okay. Skip that. Lamar.
Who are we skipping?
I'm just going through all the elite quarterbacks. Like, I skipped the Patriots. I'm not gonna.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just skipping
Lamar first.
Bailey.
Lamar
Sappy.
first. Joe Burrow.
First.
Okay.
This is where they were drafted or where they would be drafted now?
Where they were drafted.
Okay.
First. All right. C.J. Stroud.
First.
Okay. Trevor Lawrence.
First.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes.
First.
Okay. Justin Herbert.
First.
All right. I'm gonna keep this thing going here. I'm not gonna go Brock Purdy second or last seventh. Yep. Who else do we have?
Clip
here?
that for Lindsay. You saying Brock Purdy is elite? Clip it.
Brock Purdy's good.
I can name off the ones that aren't first round picks. How about
Well,
that?
no. I just want to prove a point here. Jalen Hurts.
Second.
Okay, second. Now I want to do this real quick. So those are the best quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Mm-hmm. 8 of them. The top 8.
I would put at least this year Dak in there too.
Okay, so Dak, let's say that's fourth round. Okay, so it's 8-3. 8 first round pick. The elite quarterbacks, or 8 of them, were taken in the first round.
Most of those guys were top 10 too.
Exactly. So this is my point to where, hey, you guys want to step away from Jared Goff and go Hendon Hooker? You're not guaranteed. 8 out of the 11 top elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now are first round picks. And I get there's a chance like Hendon Hooker, he got hurt, could have been first round. Get that.
Not even that, but this is where, and this is just me playing devil's advocate again, just so because I'm sure there's people in the chatter that are going to say this. If you look at how the Lions are built, can we agree that they're built like the 49ers, they're built like the Eagles, and they're built like the Cowboys as far as in the NFC?
Yes.
7th round pick, 2nd round pick, 4th round pick at quarterback. That's where people are like, if you build this roster and Hendon Hooker does not work, okay. Because you can remember the years where the 49ers, when they were first starting, they had Nick Mullins, and it was because of injury.
Okay, you know what?
And this is, hold on. And this is why they were able to take a Trey Lance. Now, obviously not the right pick, but they got another quarterback in the 7th round who was able just to put this team above water. So the thing with the Lions is why I'm not
I love that point.
heavy to put over as Jared Goff as I was originally is because at some point the Lions, they just don't need an elite quarterback. They need a Kirk Cousins 3rd round pick. They need guys like that, or Kirk might have been.
You're the only person I've heard say that though when it comes to this Jared Goff thing. Just saying, hey, you can just get a guy like Brock Purdy who can still throw.
And I know Brock Purdy's a hard to find, but like Sam Howell in the 5th round, like there's guys.
But you guys see my point here to where it's like, hey, we talk about, hey, Jared Goff is sitting here. At some points this year, people who hated him were putting him in the top 10 in the NFL as a quarterback, correct?
Yeah.
So you're doing that, and you're just wanting to move on from the guy like that when you're not guaranteed to have anyone step in and do what you want him to do. Like the percentage of you getting that right and getting a guy to fill in is so much far off than saying, all right, if he ends up working out, we can roll with him the next couple of years and we can keep drafting until we get a guy, because that's what the 49ers have always done. That's what the Chiefs did. That's what the Patriots were doing. That's what a lot of these teams do and that's why at the beginning of this last draft, I think Lucas, me and you sat there and we agreed on this when we said draft a quarterback at some point in this draft so you can get someone in and see, and you can keep taking these shots. Maybe Hendon Hooker is that guy.
And I will say this too, if they roll with Hendon, this team is going to have growing pains with him too. Like you can't expect Hendon to come in year 1 and just take this team where it's supposed to go. Every quarterback, especially one that's drastically different from Jared Goff as far as what he can do, there's going to be growing pains with that. So you got to prep for that year of like, okay, the Lions might be 12-5 with Jared Goff. They'll probably have a year where they're like 9-8. 10 and 7, and then that's when you got it. That's when it's the judgment year.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I agree. The judgment year, because if you want to take that leap and you want to say let's move on from Jared Goff, there's that. Just remember, there's still that chance that it doesn't work out and you end up getting screwed and you're chasing a quarterback for 5 years. That's where I'm at. At the end of the day, I like Jared Goff. If we get him on a good deal, I'm staying with him. And at the end of the day, he had that 12-game stretch where he almost broke an NFL record for most passes without an interception and a turnover. So that's where I'm at. But he does need to figure out how to take care of that ball. Like, that has to happen.
How much money did Jonah Jackson make not playing on Thursday?
Oh, my gosh. That left side of the ball there
I
was...
love Jonah, too, bro.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a real thing. Like, he's a real piece to this. But let me tell you about Feldman Chevrolet. Because they're Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. And since 1996, they've been offering a convenient first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. They got 18 locations, so there's got to be a dealership in your backyard. Just visit feldmanauto.com. Also, Morning Woodward Show and Big D Energy are there every other Monday at their Novi dealership. So check them out. Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer. But Booner, tell them about Guardian Alarm.
Guardian Alarm, baby. Customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions that are specific to your needs. They have 24/7 professional monitoring. You can give them a call anytime, day or night, and you know that a Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. That is technology backed by people, where your safety and security deserve technology that has been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. Make sure, if you want a great defense, maybe not like the Lions ones, but a 10 times better defense, call Guardian Alarm. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
For over 60 years, 61 or more years, Fairway Packing has been providing Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with all the beef you could ever ask for. Prime beef, Wagyu beef, dry-aged beef, so much beef. You can experience the Fairway beef difference for yourself today. Just visit their beef shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. They also got grab-and-go steaks that you can order online if you would like at fairwaypacking.com.
Get your meats.
Beef.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate all of you guys locking down the Woodward Sports Network. Look at the puppies next to us. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button. Let's get up to 75 here before the end of the hour, before we hit hour number 2. I want to read a comment here. I'm Salty said AG is the reason we beat the Bears, not Goff.
Oh, yeah, let's not do that now.
I'm salty. Come on.
I mean,
hopefully that was sarcasm.
I mean,
I can't tell if it was. I didn't read the other.
They only gave him 3 points off of those turnovers.
I'm salty. Can you just comment if
they
that
made
was
the
sarcasm
stops when they were needed?
They did get stops, but Jared
29-second drive out of Justin Fields.
Jared Goff. Yeah, that was with timeouts though. But Jared Goff did.
So timeouts are.
I'm not taking. The defense was great.
I just think we got to call it the good stuff. Like I'm not defending
defense was great.
everything about I'm not defending the defense either, but
let's
they
talk
did
about
do
two-minute
things.
drives in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes left to go score two touchdowns. Like
the beginning of the game too.
They didn't play well, but
defense took them out. Like
they did good things that don't get talked about.
It's like being like the defense was great yesterday versus the Packers, but they gave up 20 points in the first quarter. It's like, what are we?
They weren't great yesterday.
That's what I'm saying. It's like because they got stops in the second half that you're going to sit here like that's basically what that comment tells me.
The amount of time that Jordan Love had was absolutely pitiful.
At times.
No.
At times.
Booner.
I've got the first possession. You guys want me to give you my stats for the first possession? Because we're getting into the defense here. This is the defensive segment.
Yeah, I got one more thing on it.
First, the stats on it. You guys want to say that the defensive line couldn't get there? He had from the snap to the ball coming out of his hands, the first 3 passes of the game, when he went and got a touchdown to start the game, 1.5 seconds, 1.8 seconds, and 3.2 seconds.
Okay.
And then after that, yes, there were times throughout the game where the defensive line was horrid and they couldn't get to the damn quarterback. Sorry for swearing.
1.5 seconds to deliver a perfectly thrown 53-yard
pass. He did
pass.
it. I timed it. The timing, I timed it multiple times.
But release from his hand doesn't tell the whole story.
From when the ball is snapped to him getting the ball out of his hands, you can tell me Hutch is going to get to him in 1.3 seconds?
There's no pressure up the middle making it hard for him.
1.3 seconds, fellas.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying because I'm agreeing that defensive line was horrific throughout the whole football game. That was embarrassing. If you go back and watch it, go watch the effort of some of those guys. Seriously, go watch even like not even just the defensive line, Kirby Joseph blitzing and just sitting there and like I'm not trying to be like that guy, but like it just felt like there was no effort from some of the guys.
I'll agree with that.
Like it was terrible. Go rewatch the game on NFL Plus. Go watch some of those defensive linemen who it felt like they just stood up and went like, how's your day going?
Honestly, it's
a good day of football, huh? Like. Happy Thanksgiving.
It's just absolutely disgusting. And one thing that needs to be pointed out is this does come back to Brad Holmes. We know how great of a drafter he is, but not making a move at the deadline has proven already to be a drastic mistake. You have 2 third-rounders. You easily could have given one up for a guy like Chase Young. I know Sweat got the bag, so I'm focusing more on Young here, but there are no excuses that we did not get a pass rush. Yesterday, it was clear as day.
I want to disprove that because AG. No, because I'm going to say this too about AG as well too, because the AG is a God thing. AG had this defense as a top 10 defense at one point this season with it like a big game stretch. Did he not?
Yeah.
So he can do that with this personnel. And yes, it could be on the players. And like I said, those defensive linemen felt like they were giving no effort. But someone's got like, what are we doing here?
Here's my thing with the whole Brad shit. And this is when Brad Holmes starts getting... How is Brad Holmes getting held accountable for this? Because obviously the Lions are not going all in this season for a Super Bowl. That is what they told you by not doing anything at the trade deadline.
And it was a mistake.
But not if you're trying... If you're accepting... that this is not the Super Bowl season, and everything that the Lions are doing are telling you right now, this is not the Super Bowl season. This is not the time to invest then. If the Lions were making a trade tells you this is a Super Bowl now season. So not making a trade tells me, all right, let me backtrack. The Lions are overcompensating right now as far as their success. So let me backtrack to what the original plan of the season was, win a division, win a playoff game. They're going to be able to do that without making a trade. They're going to do that. So now that gives you more cap space down the road so you can do that. I was upset at the trade deadline too because I want it to be a Super Bowl season. But let's face it, let's eat a piece of humble pie. It's just not that year.
And it's
this is a huge step here.
Shout out D-Man.
And it's also not like our 3rd round pick this year. It's not mortgaging the future. Our 3rd round pick isn't even freaking playing. Project Martin's not even getting snaps, Lucas. It's not mortgaging the future.
He's not playing, but what you're doing is, so if Chase Young leaves, now you have to address that hole that you just had with Chase Young. So now you're just developing a culture that's just not there. It's an in and out process. This Lions team, they want to keep everything together. They want to keep it in-house because it's a young team that can build. If I understand Chase Young would be nice to have right now. But the other problem is, what if Chase Young doesn't re-sign and you're like, oh, it's a 3rd round pick?
Then you get another 3rd or 4th round pick.
You just keep doing it. Or you just keep the plan where it's going. Just keep where it's going because it's working so far.
I want to throw this out there too. I don't want to sit here and blame Brad Holmes on all this because it's either he felt like there was a team that they could do it, or he felt like they were a little bit away. Either way, Brad has done a good. I think Brad's done a good enough job with this team to build it up to where it's like we can trust whether he didn't want to give up a pick for. That's how I look at it. With this defense, though, now I had this in my notes and I wanted to touch on. We'll go a little over here because I want to hear your thoughts, Broder. But the whole thing with this defense, the pass rush, like I said, with the Jordan Love getting the ball out as quick as he did at times, the corners. If you go watch back the game, I watched it multiple times. Like Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs, and I'm not going at like
no, they were soft. Their coverage was soft.
Soft coverage, or right away. Like I talked about this with Lucas. It's like as soon as the ball snapped, they were already beat. It felt like at times, and like Kirby and Tracy sometimes late over on the help, and you could like that first play of Christian Watson.
Miscommunication.
You could see Cam mad because he thought Kirby was supposed to be there or trade whoever it was, and it was late, and you could see him like where were you? And it's like these are things to me that are coaching things to where you can like Kirby, you have to be in that spot. Like, you have to teach these guys, hey, these are, like, yes, you could say schemes, but, like, there are things, too, to where AG has had this team. There are names on this defense. We know who Kirby Joseph is. We know Tracy Walker, Cam Sutton. We know Jerry Jacobs. We know these linebackers, some of the best in the NFL. We know some of these guys on the defensive line who have produced at points in their career. So when at the point, it's like, yes, I understand the personnel is bad, not great, but there was a stretch of football where they were playing top 10 defense football, and AG had them humming. And the same people who want to protect AG now were saying how great of a job AG was doing when he had them top 10. So it's like, okay, if we're gonna give him the props now, when it's not top 10, what are we gonna talk about? That he needs to get them back to there. Because when you have a job, you're supposed to be held accountable for it. Just like every player, every coach. If I'm doing this show, I'm held accountable for it. If I do something stupid on the air, the people above me are going to get held accountable for it. It's the same thing. It's like that in every profession you're in. But to say that AG hasn't had the people to do it when he's proven to us, that's why we know AG's so good and can do it, is because he's done it before. So why not do it the last 4 games? What's happening? Sorry, Broder, you can go. I'm sorry. That to me is like common sense.
No, to me, I mean, AG hasn't been perfect by any stretch of the imagination. He hasn't been horrible, or as horrible as some people are saying. But to me, firing AG is a lot like firing Dwayne Casey.
I didn't know firing, by the way, too. I don't want to get rid of AG.
Well, right. It's a talent problem. It's not a coaching problem. Not to say he's been a perfect coach, but the issues they have are talent. And there's a lot of things that go into that, but if you're not getting pressure up the middle, like you were talking about Jordan Love only having 1.5 seconds to throw on that first one where he delivered a dime, Aiden Hutchinson, sometimes he's getting pressure from the outside, but when there's no pressure coming up the middle, that quarterback has a nice open lane, a nice pocket, either step up in or just take a big step and chuck it down the field, which we've seen Justin Fields and Jordan Love do these last 2 weeks. So it's hard. Jerry Jacobs had his worst game. To me, he should be jamming the wide receivers at the line of scrimmage 100% of the time because he's so strong. But he gives a 10-minute cushion.
Remember Baltimore and
10-yard cushion? Yeah, like
those
the problems are when they're not playing well, when the units aren't playing well, they expose the other units. Like the defensive line, when they can't get pressure, that makes it even harder on Cam Sutton and Jerry Jacobs.
Football.
If they're not providing enough coverage on the wide receivers, then the quarterback can get it out. All Jordan Love was doing, he was dumping it down 7, 8, 9 yards to the flats, or he was throwing it deep, or he was just like it was just too easy for him.
And Lucas, whatever easy sent, I don't want to play it because
it's like a Baldy.
Yeah, I don't because Baldy picks the best. Like I get these breakdowns and all of that, but like you can go get 3 or 4 plays where the Packers were elite. Like at the end of the day, Easy, you're in the NFL. This isn't Pee Wee football. It's either you get your job done and you step up or you don't. But you can't go 4 games. And yes, there's been halves where the defense was great the second half of the Packers, great the second half of the Bears. But there's been times to where it's like 20 points in a quarter. And yes, I will admit as well, we can all be honest with this, Broder. The turnovers don't help a defense out at all. That's a problem. I've been the one all year that says to win a football game in the NFL, you have to win the turnover battle. It helps your defense, helps the offense take care of the ball, and on the defensive side, you have to get turnovers, which is something we haven't seen as well the last 4 weeks. So this is an all-around thing here. But to start protecting people and say, hey, it's not this guy's fault, it's not this guy. That's all it is, man. And easy, I don't know more than Baldy, but Baldy does a great job. But breaking down 1 or 2 plays, it's just like there's a full football game out there. There's a full first, like I get Jordan Love had a great game. But this is a 4-game stretch all the way leading back to Baltimore that there's been holes in the defense. I'm sure if you ask Baldy, he will go break you down a lot of plays where there are holes in this defense, and he can say, hey, AG, let's tighten this thing up a little bit. Play both sides here. Let's be honest.
The key is getting this all working together come December, come playoff times. Not blowing it in these next six games. They got things to figure out. Don't get me wrong.
Against quarterbacks who turn the ball over.
Yeah,
too.
but when these units start playing well together, they can win games. I'm not saying they're as talented as the 49ers. They are built like the 49ers and the Eagles, but no one's going to convince me that defensive line is as talented as the 49ers.
What is the Lions defense? Where are they ranked right now?
Doesn't matter. Let's talk about the I mean, it's low. I think it's like 26 or something.
Okay, yeah. So that's just like, to me, it's like, hey, you have a top 5 offense and your defense 26, but you're going to go at your quarterback that's turned the ball over, yes, but like your defense is 26, but the DC, like, what are we doing here? Narratives, man. All right, Planet Fitness. I'm sorry, I keep going off on these tangents, boys.
Sorry, Bill.
Almost passed out at one of the commercial breaks. All right, Planet Fitness. Let me tell you guys about it. It is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, easy, you can feel comfortable and work on your fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience squeaky clean gyms that has tons of equipment, full body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for just $10 a month. No commitment. Planet Fitness, they have hundreds and thousands of Planet Fitnesses in Metro Detroit and thousands of them worldwide. Make sure you guys check them out where your fitness is.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best, like Sam Reynolds in the chat gives his golden retriever Jake and his orange cat. Premier
Milo.
Pet Supply. Now, Milo. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet source. Not just dogs and cats. It's all different kinds of animals. Stick said they have a turtle walking around in store where he lives in the Beverly Hills, right down the road. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. They got 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate all you guys locking in. Friday, Loser Friday for us as Detroit Lions and Lions fans. Sucks to say, but Loser Friday. We almost had 2 victory days this week.
Worst part is we just got to sit on this for 10 days.
That's the worst thing.
know?
I was thinking that because usually when I do social on Sundays and we play Thursday, I could put some posts out there like, hey, like Lions fans like sitting here knowing you have a win. Don't even know what I'm going to post Sunday. Maybe I'll just be like,
throw on some of those interviews from downtown at Bullseye Event Group, eh?
Nick was on fire.
What do I post on Twitter then? We already put them up.
There was one on Twitter. Let's not get crazy about it. But,
they all got put up on Twitter, by the way.
Yeah, the girl said she wanted to bring Matthew Stafford from the Lions home, so that was pretty funny.
That was epic.
It was a good interview for sure.
Love it. All right, let's hit it. We're a little behind here. Can we start? Let's talk about Dan Campbell real quick, Broder.
Yeah.
I'll let you hit this first, but obviously there was these weird decisions and these fourth down calls. Oh yeah, he can go first. But there was fourth downs, 4th and 4 on the Green Bay 35.
Thank you, Master.
And they don't get it, which would have made the game. I wrote this down here because Lucas was like, if you get these field goals, what does it make it? If they would have gone for that, it would have made it 23-9. The fake punt, 4th and 4. This is the bad one to me. This one was like the very bad one.
Yeah.
On your own 23. It would, if you would have just punted the ball and your defense gets a stop, which they were getting stops at the time, the game was 23-14.
Important to note, you have one of the top 3 punters in the league.
23-14. 3 plays later, after doing that, the Packers score, make it 29-14, make it like a big 2-possession game, not like where you have to get a 2-point conversion instead of making it 23-14, maybe getting a stop to where you can, touchdown field goal. And then there's the 4th and 7 on the Green Bay 35. If you would have kicked that field goal, 29-17. And then the 4th and 7 on the Green Bay 12. Kick that field goal if you would have done it all before, 29-20, which doesn't, it's still a 2-possession game. So maybe that's why Dan went for it. But what are your thoughts? I know Dan spoke after the game in regards, and he did say he kind of made a mistake on one of them. What are your thoughts? Do you still like him going for these 4th downs?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do, especially when your kicker misses an extra point your first time scoring a touchdown in the game. When that happened, I knew we weren't going to see any of the kickers for the rest of the game. The fake punt was horrible. That was a bad decision that you're right, he did fess up to. But I've hopped on the aggressive Dan Campbell bandwagon, so I'm not going to jump off it now. I think that's part of what makes him special. I do think he's got to find a way to mix it up a little bit, because now it's not a surprise to anybody. Like, if you're going to be aggressive, a punt, specifically a punt, not just going for it on 4th down, a punt, if you're going to fake a punt, it's got to be a surprise. Teams now don't think there's no surprise anymore. Like, they've done this before. They expect him, if not expect him to fake it, they're thinking about it every single play. Teams who don't expect that, that's where you catch them off guard. If they're going to go for it on 4th, especially there, I want to see their offense on the field. Like, if you're going to do it, throw Jared Goff in that offensive line. And obviously, it was a rough game yesterday, but I'd rather the offense go. What was it on 4th and 4? Yeah, throw the offense out there. 4 yards.
I agree.
That's a decent run for Jalen Reeves made.
Yeah,
that was nuts that they ran the ball. I would have thought, like, if you were doing a fake punt and it's
Dorsey.
But at one point it's like, if you're that far away from a first down, at least do a fake punt where you throw the ball and give yourself a chance.
And
I agree.
Like,
to be honest,
it's crazy to run the ball.
I don't know if I should share this information, if I'm allowed to share this, but Jack Fox arguably has the second best arm on the team.
Oh no, he does. Yeah,
throws freaking lasers.
He's completed some passes.
Throw there.
Hasn't he completed a pass before?
Yeah, I think he's had 4 fake punt pass completions and 4.
At Denver, McAfee on call.
Do you know what they were saying? Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Do you know what I think they were saying on the broadcast, too, that what happened was Dan, in, like, those situations, he gives, like, when you go out there, he gives the guys, like, hey, if they're lined up this way, switch it to that, but if not, then punt it. I think maybe Jalen Reeves, and this is just a speculation for me, I think he might have saw something that he felt like he could have got it, made the call, and whatever the hike or the cadence is, he did that, so it's like, hey, let's go for it, because he got the go to be able to.
Never thought about that.
And it just didn't, like, Greg Olsen was talking about it on the broadcast, and he said Jalen Reed, whoever called it out, probably shouldn't have done it, because they were just the way they were lined up. You had no chance from the jump.
Yeah,
there
I don't
was
like
nothing.
my 5th string linebacker making that call from the backfield.
Don't slander Germ.
He's a captain.
That was all right. My bad.
It might have been a bad call.
That was a little harsh.
Yes.
But I don't. Yeah, I like that decision to come from Coach Dan Campbell.
Yes.
To be honest.
Yeah. He's a captain. He's a captain for a reason.
A
having not played, I get you. I just had to make sure.
My bad,
maybe.
My bad.
You're the dog.
I do too. And the last thing here on the Dan Campbell stuff, and we've already spoke about it a lot. Are you guys confident? Let's do a scale of 1 to 10, and I want to hear and see in the chat where people are at, because I did speak about it the last 2 seasons when there's been these stretches. Dan has stepped up and this is one of his strengths, I feel like, to where whether he's made changes or he's made adjustments, he's moved guys around, he's done certain things to where a stretch like this, he knows how to flip it. Scale 1 to 10. I'll go around the room. Where are you guys at with Dan Campbell with this?
To flip it back to
do like on this 10 game or day off thing to kind of.
But I'm saying flip it back to what? Just to where they were.
To where they're like you could literally say, hey, they might be one of the best teams. Where people had them top 3 in the power.
I have a 10 in the offense. I think the offense will get right back on track, but that defense is what scares me.
Do you think he can get guys back though?
Not to top 10, but maybe to like top 15, 20. So I'd put overall for them to turn it around, I'd give them like an 8.
Do you remember we used to do shows together, Lucas. Do you remember the stat I used to pull out all the time?
Which was?
If you have a top 10 offense and a top 15 defense, you're a Super Bowl caliber team. I'm not saying that's gonna. I'm not doing it. All right,
so then let's go down with every lead.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying. Not every great team has a top 10 in both on offense and defense.
Right, but
and those most Super Bowl teams and teams in the playoffs that compete only have top 10 in one of them. There's 3 or 4 teams a year that do top 10 in both.
They usually have one of those elite quarterbacks on the other side for
Don't
them.
say that to me.
But that's what the reality is.
Yeah, don't care.
Doesn't fit my narrative.
Nick, 1 through 10, and then Broder after that.
Yeah, I kind of want to pose a question back to you guys with this one, maybe next segment. But
I say we're talking about Michigan.
I think he's gonna go 4 and I think they're gonna go 4-2 in the next 6 games. So I guess with my confidence level in that, I would say like a 8 maybe. You know, I can't give them all the way to the 10, but I think we're gonna go 4-2, end the season 12-5.
I like that.
Broder, where you at?
I'll be 7.58. Like I have faith in Dan Campbell, but I also recognize this is still it's not even finished his 3rd full year of coaching. So there are things that could just happen. That he doesn't have that experience, but I do think he makes up some of that experience with his playing days and with the coaching staff he has around him. So I'm not worried about that. It's more worried about how that defense is able to step it up in these last 6 games and through a playoff run.
So to what you were saying earlier, Booner, it's like it's part of it's a personnel thing. So
I agree, but
it's hard to turn around talent.
Have you seen
it
though?
You've seen it, but over the course of consistent stretches where you're seeing this team get exposed in the secondary, teams are now going to keep attacking the secondary. Teams are now going to put in, just instead of just going under center, they're just going to keep dropping straight back in the gun. So the quarterback has more time to drop back and the receivers to get open.
30-second timeout real quick.
Yep.
I just want to have a conversation with just me and Just a Fan in the chat. Can we have a conversation, Just a Fan? He said Booner is definitely in the denial state of grief. I'm not in the denial state of grief. I'm the realistic one here. We've talked this whole show about what they've done wrong, what they need to fix, and that the season's not over. Go watch some other people who have said, "Hey, the season's done. We might not win the North. Things might be over with." That's the grief where it's like, oh, I don't even know what that's called, but that's like the worst of them all. Does anyone want to help me with that one? What's that called? That's like bottom over denial.
It'd just be mental weakness.
Like I'm not denying.
There's some adversity.
Yeah, I've admitted.
There's some adversity,
and that's the biggest thing is I've admitted that there are issues on this football team right now. It's about 1, can you fix them, and 2, can you learn from them and go over the adversity and go win football games? Because if they get back to the way they played the end last season, this team can make a run and they can be scary in the playoffs. Because do you remember last year, guys, what people were saying about this Lions team? Almost everyone was saying, hey, no one wants to see this Lions team in the playoffs when they were going on that stretch. No one does. If they start getting hot again, no one wants to see this team in the playoffs.
Rule number 76, play like a champion.
Yeah.
Sold.
I love it. We are going to talk Michigan coming back, though. There was something else I wanted to say about the Lions, and we're doing that. We're going back to it at 9:40, so hopefully I remember. I'll write it down, though.
So the Booner memory will kick in.
It will. It comes back on.
You'll start talking about it during the Michigan segment.
I did almost pass out on the show here today, guys, from yelling.
Oh.
I had to go to Broder.
Need some sugar. You're lacking that Kool-Aid.
Oh, my gosh. I didn't get it yesterday.
Yeah. Maybe you're getting a blood clot like Klotzy.
Oh, dude, chill out. Klotzy. That's so funny to me still. All right, let's go to break. I'm going to tell you guys about the Lions pregame show real quick, and then we'll do Hamlin Pub. Lions pregame show. Make sure you guys don't miss out, though. It is before every Lions game from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Make sure you guys tune into that. It is Jeff Frady. I am on the show. Lucas typically. There is a full squad on the show with different special guests. Make sure you guys check that out on the Woodward Sports YouTube page. And then, after you guys watch that, go to Hamlin Pub. Go there, get a beer, get some wings, go watch some football. If you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular, we have just the place for you. That is Hamlin Pub. 7 locations, an experience where everyone is a regular. They have half-off pizza on Thursdays. Game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games. Hamlin Pub, it is the place to be. I go there. Lucas goes there. Broder goes there. I don't know if Nick's ever been there, but make sure you guys visit the location and experience where your new favorite pub for all things sports is.
Hamlin Pubs.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Do you have football on the brain? Well, fall ushers in college and professional football, and it's almost over, and it's been freaking awesome. So, it's also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance heading into the new year. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports, and they should be covering you. So, give Mark at Swiss a call. Hit him up at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177.
And we are back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate every one of you guys tuning in here. Friday night, day after Thanksgiving. Things were packed outside. I didn't see anyone when I came in the back here. There was no one here. I sat back there by myself for about 30 minutes until Lucas came. But it felt like everywhere I was driving, traffic was crazy. I was like, usually when I drive here after work, there's no traffic. I was in like
Black Friday.
Dead stop traffic for a little bit. People are out and shop. People are going. I just shop online, to be honest. All right, hit that like button if you guys haven't already. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in. My name's Booner Broder, as always, Lions beat reporter. Lucas in the TD booth today, and we've got Nick, as always, in the sound booth. We're gonna get into this though. The game.
Whoa.
Michigan versus Ohio State.
Maserati Mom.
Maserati Mom.
JJ McCarthy.
Lombardi
Blake
JJ.
Corum, Travion Henderson.
Woo!
Mikey!
My chair just went down. No, I love this game. I think this is the most, we said it last week, fellas. I think this is the most anticipated, the most hyped up, and the best Michigan versus Ohio State matchup that we have seen in my lifetime. I don't know if you guys in here, I don't think you guys have, but I think this is going to be the most exciting Michigan versus Ohio State game that we have ever seen and we will ever see in our life, especially with the new playoff rules, the new Big Ten happening. This is like that last hurrah, I feel like, for it. So,
hoorah!
We can go around the room a little bit. I want to get everyone's feelings on this game. Lucas, I know you're an Ohio State guy. Ryan Day's still a scumbag.
He is a scumbag.
Ohio State scumbags. Everyone about this, scumbags.
Shut your fucking mouth.
A lot of scumbags. Broder, I'm going to start with you. Former Michigan Wolverine. Just talk me through this game here. Give me hope.
This is the biggest game of the year for both teams. Regardless of all the scandal, which just makes it that much more elevated. This is the game, and that's why they call it the game. This rivalry is about it's a hateful rivalry. Like when I was at Michigan, the Michigan State, the Ohio State and Michigan State, the two main rivals for Michigan. Michigan State's more of like a prideful rivalry. It's both teams are in the state of Michigan. You want those bragging rights for the year. But with Ohio State, it's sort of built on hate. We just don't like Ohio State. So it's huge. It's huge. Michigan, they have a chance to win. Their schedule has been kind of soft. Ohio State doesn't exactly have the most incredible resume either, but they are both good teams. They have two top-ranked defenses. It's going to be a cold afternoon in Ann Arbor tomorrow, so I think it's going to be a battle. I don't expect either team to blow the other one out. I do think Michigan's going to win because of how they're built in the trenches, but it's going to be a game. It's going to be close. It's going to be a battle.
Okay. Do you know what, Broder?
What, Booner?
I think Michigan wins by 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Holy shit.
This is just off the top of my head here. All week I've been nervous, but Michigan Booner's coming out at me. I've got the national championship hat on.
With Sharon Moore.
I think what's going to happen.
Sharon Moore at OC's winning by 2 touchdowns.
Terry said this today, and this is what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be a really close game, and I think in the fourth quarter, though, it's going to be just like the last 2 years where Michigan, that defense is too much. Kyle McCord, Lucas, you can't give me that look because you've talked so much bad things about Kyle McCord.
It's not about Kyle McCord.
You know exactly who he is. Go look at his stats. Go look at the close games they played in. This isn't the Ohio State team that years past that blow people out by 40, and that's where I think things are a little different here tomorrow. We've always, even the last 2 years, we've always seen Ohio State win games by 40 versus all these teams. Indiana, Michigan State, all these different teams. Last week, they only won by, 20 points? Penn State, 1 possession game. They haven't been out there dominating as they have in the past. Reason why? Ryan Day's a scumbag, first of all. Secondly, Kyle McCord isn't like Justin Fields, isn't like C.J. Stroud. They don't have that guy on that team, and that is, I know that, Maserati Marv. But if you don't have a quarter like
Travion Henderson
in the run game,
those are the two guys you got to shut down.
But the run game has been 8th in the Big Ten. The Maserati Marv is the best wide receiver in college football right now. But Kyle McCord, if you don't have that C.J. Stroud guy, I don't see how they haven't been doing this all. They haven't been the Ohio State of years past. And I think Michigan with this defense, they're going to find a way to get stops late in the game as they always do, and they have better second halves. That's going to change the game. And this offense is going to have a couple big runs, and I think it ends up being like last year and the year before, to where they have a couple at the end that puts them ahead. And then we're going to be nervous through the first 3 quarters, fellas. Just get used to it. Get ready for it.
Yeah, I am actually going to go the exact opposite way from you, Booner. The spread here is 3.5, and the over-under is set at 46.5 for this game at the Big House in the game. I'm going to go Ohio State plus 3.5. I think that this is a very, very tight game all the way down.
What are you doing?
They don't win by 2 touchdowns, but Michigan ends up winning. But I believe this is going to be an extremely close game within a field goal. I don't have faith in Sharon Moore yet. I really do not.
Smart man.
We have not seen a lot out of him.
Yeah, I'm nervous about that.
The last 2 games. And I've said this earlier in the week. There will be a lot of adversity that happens in this game with J.J. McCarthy, whether it's a fumble or an interception. How does he respond to it without his head coach in the biggest football game college football has to offer? All the eyes are going to be on J.J. McCarthy. How does he respond? That's my biggest question mark going into this game. He's going to have to use his legs a lot to pick up those big first downs in key situations. And you got to hit the deep balls when the opportunities present itself. So
not on Dendell
Ohio State plus 3.5. I believe Michigan gets the win, though.
I'm pumped for the game. Did you guys see Jim Harbaugh's comments about Ryan Day?
No.
Did you guys see it? So someone asked him and was like, what did they say? They said something like along the lines where, what was, Broder, did you see this?
Yeah, like just
what was the question?
Do you respect Ryan Day? And he was like,
Yes.
it's all about the preparation.
He just ignored the question.
Yeah.
And he went on for like 5 minutes talking.
I will say, Booner, I'm surprised you didn't bring this up. The turnover differential that Ohio State and Michigan have had over the last 3 years. These are the last 2 wins against Michigan. In the last 3 seasons, just as a season, OSU has gone from 14th to 17th to 53rd in the nation in turnover margin. In those last 3 years, Michigan has gone from 52nd to 17th to 3rd. And that has to do with the quarterback turnover. That has to do with Ryan Day. There are a lot of different things at stake. But you got to shut down Travion Henderson, who Lucas brought up. He's their one big play threat, not named Marvin Harrison Jr., which is the other guy you need to guard. And not just him, the wide receiver group. Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, and Cade Stover, too. Tight end Cade Stover.
Carnell Tate's nice.
But he is nice. They have an underrated receiving core.
Their receiving core is always a little underrated, and those guys end up being stars.
I also think Michigan's secondary is underrated. Will Johnson, if not top 2, he might be the best. I think he's the best cornerback in the nation. Mikey Sanders still. They have the guys, Makari Page, Rod Moore. They got the guys to go up against them. Who's got the better quarterback? I'll take J.J. McCarty or Kyle McCord. Who's got the best offensive line, the better offensive line or defensive line? I'll take Michigan in both of those. And I'm not saying because I think they have the better players in all those areas, they're going to blow them out. I don't think that. But I do think that they're going to come away with a dub. And I don't mind Sharon Moore. He needs to get a little more creative. He can't be as conservative.
The 30 runs in a row, that's what's going to hurt you. And him doing that for 2 games, Broder,
he's a disciple of Jim Harbaugh, and I think he was trolling the shit out of the entire country, doing that against Penn State.
I hope so.
I think that was at least part of the strategy. Also, it was working. You need to run... What?
What's his Drew Aller out of the game right now?
Who?
Drew Aller's not in the game. Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No problem.
Drew Aller.
Ohio boy.
I threw that off there a lot. My bad.
Big day out of Blake Corum, Donovan Edwards, J.J.
Should
McCarthy.
We go 2 touchdowns, Blake Corum?
I got him for 1 already.
I think they're going to spread. Like Donovan Edwards, I think he had a big game last year. I know J.J. McCarthy is going to be hitting Colston Loveland a couple. They got to just consistently move the ball, dominate the time of possession. In the Big Ten, at the big house, it is actually a home field advantage. So they have to use that to their advantage and try to get up on Ohio State early so that they're panicking, so that Ryan Day starts panicking. Because if Ohio State gets ahead and if they get confident, they're a good football team. They're the number 2 team in the country. Like, they can play on offense and defense. So
it's going to be a football game.
It's going to be a fight.
I want to pose you guys a question here real quick. Sam Reynolds hit on it. Will Johnson is the best cornerback in the nation, future top 10 pick.
He is.
How do you guys feel about that matchup with Maserati Marv, the best wide receiver in the nation?
Barbecue chicken.
I think it's going to come down to the defensive line. I think that matchup is, I don't know if even's the right word, but I agree with Sam on both those comments. He's got the talent to stick with Marvin Harrison. Maybe he shuts him down one game. Maybe Marvin Harrison gets him another game or a half or whatnot. But it's going to come down to, can Kenneth Grant get pressure up the middle? Can that defensive line make it difficult for Kyle McCord? If he has a clean pocket with that wide receiver group, it doesn't matter if it's Will Johnson or freaking Sauce Gardner. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyle McCord are going to connect.
Yeah, and you can't let him cook. Maserati Marv's not a guy that you just completely shut out. Nope. That's not a guy.
They've won games where he's had 2-3 catches for 40 yards. Like,
you just have
it's about what you do with you have to stop him and make the rest of their offense difficult.
Yeah, you
make it difficult.
You have to slow it down.
It's when Abuka goes off is when you're just in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because Marv's getting his 80-90. Like, I don't care what Will Johnson is. Will Johnson is a great cornerback, probably the best cornerback in college right now, but there's just levels to skill, and Marvin Harrison is the best player outside of Caleb Williams in college football. That's just facts.
Love
Facts
it.
Machine. Let me tell you about Dispo.
Yeah, baby.
Dispo. Romeo. The team in Romeo, they have a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. They're the first ever cannabis mall of its kind, so it's conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road. Open until midnight. The Romeo location open until midnight, Monday through Saturday. Can it get any better than that? Nope. Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com. Your local cannabis plug.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Come hang with the Woodward Sports crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
How'd you like to win a 100K Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in this city that never sleeps. It's a Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and win. Register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste so you can look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself. Check them out, drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in here.
The opening of the song always reminds me of "It's a Hard Knock Life" by Jay-Z.
This song does?
The beginning of it.
That's a hard.
I can hear it.
Like the first little whatever that instrument is. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. It actually does kind of.
You know,
I have to read.
Start it over.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. My name is Booner Broder, as always, Lions beat reporter. Lucas in the TD booth and Nick in the sound booth, as always. Let's do this real quick. We have to do our picks for the NFL. I have them here. We're just going to do a quick one around the room. We're going to go a little quicker than we usually do just because we have 5 minutes for this segment. Or I guess we could just do it normally and then we can go maybe a couple minutes over.
Just we'll all keep our analysis crisp.
Because what will happen, Morning Woodward show, they go over a little bit. Maybe we just go over a little bit.
No, or we could just end on time.
I like going over.
I will not be rushed.
I'm not being rushed. I want to go over for the people.
I'm down to hang.
Man of the people. All right, let's start it off around the NFL. Do you have the records, Broder?
I do.
Let's go.
I do. It's a within 4-game race. I'm in first place at 53-38. Booner, you're 2 games behind at 51-40. Lucas / the TD booth and Nick are tied.
Let's go
at 3, 49
I'm
and
making
42.
this booth come back. Dead last.
Yeah.
They were dead last.
All right. Congrats.
Yeah.
How many games back am I?
2.
Okay.
And how many are we?
4.
I feel like I'm
Okay.
2
back
every single week.
2 on.
Yeah.
We keep getting the same record.
Well, Booner, you picked. I forget what you did. You picked the Seahawks to beat the Rams.
Okay.
The Steelers to beat the Browns, the Chargers to beat the Packers. It was a tough week for you.
I took a couple. I went out on a limb for a few, which is all right. But this week, not going out on a limb.
Let's go Red Wings.
Let's do this here, fellas. All right, we're going to start off Steelers at the Bengals. Steelers are 2.5-point favorites, fellas. Let's get around the room here. The thing is no Joe Burrow. But the Steelers are still a 6-4 football team. Bengals are 5-5. It's in Cincy, and they're underdogs. Nick, who are you going with this game?
Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, the Bengals got a backup quarterback here. Joe Burrow being hurt is the reason why I'm picking the Steelers. Or should I say the Steelers?
Steelers. Lucas.
I'll make it quick. Mike Tomlin bounce back game. There's not much thought to put into it. Mike Tomlin rolls.
I'll make it clap. Booner in second place.
I'm going to go. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that came to me all of a sudden. I was like, you're right. I deserve to go last.
Okay, that's fair. Sometimes this is weird.
He likes to wait till the end. Yep.
I don't like this. This is not fair.
No, you're leading this segment. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go.
This one go third.
I'm gonna go. Give me the Steelers. I'm on the Steelers. I feel like I pick them every week.
All 4.
So I'm gonna go Steelers.
On to the next one.
All right, next one. This is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are only kind of surprising.
I'm excited for this game.
They're 1.5-point favorites on the road versus the Houston Texans. This is actually a good football game, I feel like.
Great football.
Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, yes. And that's where I think Jacksonville takes this one. I'm going to go Jacksonville. I'm going to go early here. I don't know who wins this game. I'm just going to go Jacksonville, though.
All right.
Trevor Lawrence gets him this time.
Nick?
I am going with the Michigan OSU connection. CJ Stroud and Nico Collins all day. Give me the Texans at home in this one. They are steadily competing for this division, and I think this is a massive game for the Houston Texans and to keep getting confidence going forward.
Love it. Lucas.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I said 2 weeks ago that after the Jags lost to the 49ers that this is the time when the Jaguars are to start heating up. I know it seems like a small inactive, but Noah Brown being out for the Texans, he's been rolling for them recently. And again, the Jags are just a more experienced team. I think Houston is kind of overcompensating with their win total right now, which is a good thing. I think they're a very solid team, but they're going to have growing pains. I don't think they're going to just sweep the Jaguars. I'm going with the Jags.
Ooh.
All right.
Broder?
I'll give you a chance, you two, to gain a game. I'm going with Nick. Texans.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow. All right, another one here. Close game. Another home underdog. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going on the road. They're 2.5-point favorites versus the Indianapolis Colts. I will go first as well on this one. I'm going to just start going first just so I can set the tone around here a little bit.
Set it.
Set the tone, Booner. I'm going to go, oh my gosh, Michigan State fumbled, I think, on a punt.
Person who goes first can't have this level of ADD.
I'm sorry. Bucks, Colts. I'm going to go. Give me the away team. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They win this game.
I'm just kidding, by the way.
No, I have I have ADHD, as they call it.
I am going with Indianapolis and the Colts. I don't think either of these teams are too good, but I like the Colts running game, so they are at home, and I'm picking them.
Yeah, I actually like the Colts receiving game. Josh Downs coming back, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor. I think this Colts team is very solid, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're really underrated, so give me the Colts. I think Gardner Minshew, he has himself a day against his Bucs secondary.
He always, it's just like surprises people. Like he's kind of quietly good.
Game. Yeah.
He's like the best backup in the league.
Minshew versus Baker, like they're both bringing their A games. Like that's their battle of each other.
It's a man's
That's true.
game.
You know,
they should both go like stashes.
I'm going with the stash. I'm going with Minshew.
They both have stashes.
Yeah, but Minshew's magical.
Fair enough.
Minshew's magical mustache. Colts for me.
It's a betting for you, Booner. Josh Downs this week.
All right, I'll put a bet on it. When you tell me that, you guys already know me. If someone tells me I'm a man of the
they're coming off a bye. He was dealing with the injury right before that, but Josh Downs at the beginning half of the season was rolling.
All right, Saints, Falcons. Saints are 2-point favorites at the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to go here. I'm going to start us off again. I'm going to keep taking these. And I know I'm a big home underdog guy, but I feel like there's a reason some of these teams are favored on the road. I think the Saints win this game. Derek Carr, they have enough weapons. I did see something today that Alvin Kamara was not happy. I didn't watch the video. He wasn't happy about something. I'm going to have to go watch it if anyone knows about
Dennis
that.
Allen being his head coach.
No more crab legs left at dinner. Jameson's been involved a lot more.
Yeah, so
loves his crab legs.
I don't know what's going on. Let's go the opposite way this time. Broder, you go next.
What? I'm going with the Falcons at home.
Ooh.
I am.
Look at you go. Lucas?
I don't like the Falcons, but I'm doing it.
I'm going with the Saints. The Saints, I just think, right now, are the more talented team. Neither of these teams have an identity. Arthur Smith still refuses to give Bijan Robinson his total workload that he deserves. So give me the team that at least will feature their star running back.
Good point.
Nick, what are you at?
Getting the game on Broder here. Going with the Saints. Let's go. This could be huge for the records.
I might go to literally third place with this one.
All right, let's just do a speed round here. We've got 4 games. Let's do a speed round. Everyone around the room quick, and then we'll go to break and come back. Browns at Denver. Denver 1.5-point favorites. Nick, who are you taking?
Let's ride.
Wow.
Broncos country.
Lucas?
Is DTR starting?
I think it's DTR, I believe.
I'm going to go with the Broncos. I'll go with the Broncos.
Booner, you go first. I'm right.
I'm going to go the Browns.
Me too.
I think the defense always gets me.
I don't hate it.
Something about that Browns defense, I don't like picking against them, especially defense versus Russell Wilson.
Broncos are playing good though.
I'll go the Browns.
I'm Browns also.
Bills at Eagles. Eagles are 3-point favorites at home. I'm gonna go off on a limb here. I'm gonna go to the Bills because I can't switch it. I talked about it. I talked about it Wednesday. I talked about it on the pregame show yesterday, and I took the Bills. I'm gonna have to stick with them.
That's Flannel's Chiefs. You and your Bills.
It is. I love the Bills, man. I love Josh Allen. When he wins a Super Bowl and wins an MVP, that's it. Go ahead. Give me the Birds. Take the Birds.
Yeah, Eagles are the most dominant team in the NFL right now.
That's incorrect. The 49ers are, but they're the second, and that's exactly why they're going to beat the Buffalo Bills. So, yeah, I'm going Eagles.
Broder?
3 for Eagles.
All right, sweet. I get what game on that one.
We're opposite on all of ours except Browns and Steelers.
One of us are going to take the lead. Ravens at Chargers. Ravens 3.5-point favorites. I am going to go the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not betting against the Ravens at all here. Chargers have been garbage.
First game without Mark Andrews.
Ooh, I forgot about that.
Isaiah Likely, though.
Isaiah Likely's nice. He's not anything crazy.
Actually, you know what? Just because of that, I'm going Chargers.
Oh,
wow. All right, Lucas?
I'm going to go with the Chargers, too. As shocking as it is with no Marlon Humphrey, no Mark Andrews, they're going to have to figure out a new chemistry. Although I could be proven very wrong, I think the Chargers have the firepower in order to be able to just keep that Ravens offense just slightly under them.
Broder?
Slightly under. I like that. I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm with you, Boone.
Okay.
I just think they're tough.
This is those games where they think they're smart, and that's why they're in third and fourth place.
I was close.
All right, last game here. Bears at Vikings. Oh, actually, this is Monday Night Football, isn't it? Let's skip that. Monday Night Football. We have a Monday show. That'll be on Monday. I'm excited though. That Bills, Eagles, and Ravens, Chargers games. I think there's actually some good football games this weekend.
I'm excited for the Jags, Texans.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good one.
A lot of fantasy points for me involved.
A lot of things going on. All right.
I actually won't be here Monday, so I'm gonna give my.
Wait,
Vikings
who are you going
picks.
with?
Vikings.
Oh, see ya, bro.
Yeah, I'm going to the Piston game. I gotta get my season ticket member jacket.
Oh, your varsity
before the end
jacket.
of November.
All right, awesome. I love that. Let's go to break. When we come back, I have a question to pose, and it's not really a question, but there's a kind of a statement. We're going back to the Detroit Lions here for something, because it's in regards to the power rankings. I have a question about everyone's power rankings on this show and on other shows around the network and national. I have a question about it. Let me tell you guys, though, real quick. Woodward in Maine. Make sure you guys lock in and tune into Woodward in Maine. Our own Matt Broder is on it, hosted by Gabrielle D. Phillips, Terry Foster, Detroit legend, and Matt Broder. Tuesdays, 7 to 8 a.m. and Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. They are not going this Sunday with no Lions game, but they will be back, I believe, this Tuesday at 7 a.m.
Review of this game.
Yep, so make sure you guys lock in for that for all of your insider Lions information you need. And then head over to Big Boy. Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. You could try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack, Santa Fe Garden. They have this. It's called the apple pie hotcakes. They are so good you don't want to miss out on them. And top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Make sure you guys check that out over at your local Big Boys.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
A college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand, offer more products to more people, just like Les Stanford did when they opened up Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service their customers have come to know and expect and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford also in Dearborn today. Find the brand you want, lesstanford.com.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Appreciate all of you guys locking in here. A beautiful Friday night, day after Thanksgiving. Michigan State just went back down here. I think it's like 27-0 Penn State. They're playing at Ford Field. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. We're only at 67. We're have over 100 people. Let's get over 100 likes here before the end of these next two segments. We're going to go just a little bit over because mailbag will be really short, so we're gonna go over for you guys a little bit. Real quick though, this is what I had to post. This is another Detroit Lions segment. Didn't really tell you guys about this, but one thing that I've noticed here with a lot of these people jumping off the bandwagon, and I know there's the criticism, and we've talked about the criticism. We broke some things down today on the show, Broder. This is a question for everyone in the room. I feel like if the Lions were in such a bad spot that all of these people are putting them in and saying like, oh, this is over, things over, get rid of Goff, do this, do that, why did everyone have the Detroit Lions in their top 3 in their power rankings last week after that? Like, if it was that bad and they really didn't know it, people really didn't like this team, why? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, why are we hot? Like, I get it's a back-to-back game, back-to-back stinker. They're starting to put games like that together.
Because your weaknesses got confirmed.
They did, but like
But does that put you out of their top? Does that, in your opinion, put them out of the top 10? Which you would think. Yeah.
No,
So
I think I had them at
7,
4
8,
last
9.
week because I had Philadelphia, 49ers, and I might have had, I don't think I had Kansas, so I might have even had them at 3 or 4. I feel like I had them at 4. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'd put them at like 7 this week.
And I'm not saying this week what your rankings are. I think they are going to drop. They're going to drop in mine. They're going to drop in everyone's. And someone said it here, Steve Wiles, new information, new rankings. I agree with that totally. But the way people are talking to a team about a team that everyone had in their top 5 last week, the way people are talking about them, it's like they're the 30th team in the league in the season. And it feels like that. Like there's people saying that they're not going to win the division anymore.
Yeah,
like that's just ridiculous.
You're gonna have people that are saying the Lions are still the 3rd team in the NFC or in the NFL.
True.
There's gonna be people that are somewhere in the middle. In reality, it's a top 10 team. I look at them exactly like how people look at the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, nationally at least.
I look at them like the Dolphins, the Jaguars, like those
fair.
type of teams. I like right now after those 2 weeks,
just below.
But it just feels like there's people out there that are like, hey, they're not even in that tier, and that's what
wild.
That's what bothers me a little bit. Like on Twitter, even people who have shows here, like are kind of putting them in that category. It feels like the way they're going about it. Like, hey, Brad didn't do anything. This happened. That. What are we doing? Take a step.
This isn't the Browns.
It's not the Browns. No, you're still sitting there probably just like the Dolphins, like Lucas said, the Jags, probably like the Seahawks. And you know what those teams have? They can still compete. They're still they're not completely dead in the playoffs. They're going to have a chance to win games. Are they favored? Are they going to be favored in games? No. But are they going to have a chance to win games? Yep, because we've seen it before in the NFL. It's a one possession game. That's kind of what I wanted to focus on there a little bit, Broder, because it did bother me today a little bit.
If you think they're good enough to be a top 3 or 4 team in the league, one loss, one bad game, one really bad game, without an injury or without any major change to the team, shouldn't make you think, oh, they're actually 15. You go, okay, you got some questions, maybe 8, 9. Some people even might have them at 10. I think that's a little low for me, but that should still. You should still, if they're a top 10 team in your eyes, that should still mean that you think they have a chance to compete for a Super Bowl. Any team can beat anybody.
Yes, and this is the Easy thing. It just sets me off. Calling me a slappy, saying that. Like if you watch this whole show, Easy, and you opened your ears and you were just like, hey, maybe I'll listen to what Booner has to say, because this whole show I've criticized everything bad about the Detroit Lions. We broke everything down, but you just still say, oh, you're a slappy. You might be a slappy. You're a SOL slappy. That's what you are. Ooh. You want the Lions to stay bad. You want it to be SOL. That's why you don't say anything about Aaron Glenn. That's why you go at Jared Goff. Like SOL stuff, it's like, let's just keep rotating quarterbacks and let's just keep doing it. One bad game, oh, season's over. Quarterback's done. No. It's a 17-game season. They're still a top 10 team. They're still on the same level as the Dolphins, who people are going to pick to go to the Super Bowl. They're still on the same level as the Jaguars, who I'm sure people still feel like they can go. That's the team you have right now. You don't have that elite team when we found that out the last 2 weeks, but you have the potential still. Calling me a slappy.
Tell me when to go.
You're obsessed with being an SOL,
Tell me when to go. Tell me when to go.
Also, Sparty getting absolutely demolished by
Speaky 40. Speaky 40.
Need them to cover that 28.
I'm sorry. I keep going. He keeps setting me off, fellas, all show. I shouldn't let it get.
By giving it to him. You're just feeding into him.
It's the SOL stuff, man. That's all it is. It's like, hey, like you're just so used to it for 20 years, however long you've been a Lions fan, and you're just gonna sit there and keep saying the same things that you said 20 years ago when it was a different regime, different quarterback, different coach, and you're just gonna keep using the same arguments that you did 15 years ago when they were bad. This is a real football team, a real regime, a real organization right now. Come on, man.
Don't worry.
You know what? Yeah, and I am a slap whatever you said there. I don't swear.
Slap ass.
When they win a Super Bowl, he just can't celebrate if Goff holds the Lombardi trophy.
I'm tired of the back and forth. Oh, they win a football game. They're great.
So don't give it to him.
Oh, they lose. Jared Goff sucks. Oh,
I don't talk to Brandon Katz because it's just a joke.
Oh, yeah, you're
now that was mean, Broder. Apologize.
Yeah, I'm not comparing those two. I'm just saying Brandon Katz he wants to get a rise out of everybody, and he's right about a few things, but he's wrong about most, and he just wants he wants to get us riled up.
He does. Yeah, Easy said, I'll stop, Broder.
He knows the
I'm confirmed. I am 2-0 versus Easy. 2-0, never lost. That's a fact, and he knows it. Because Easy was like, oh, Ben Johnson's gone. He's going to get paid to go become a head coach. And I sat in on the heavyweights and said, he'll be back.
We've all been right about some things. We've all been wrong about some
I've
things.
got some clips as well.
I thought Jimmy Garoppolo was better than he was.
Same with Kenny Pickett.
I thought Kenny Pickett was better than he was.
We tried to wake you up from that. Numerous times. Booner's the dude that's preaching that he has the best QBR in the fourth quarter.
He does. He's the best fourth quarter quarterback in the NFL.
Shut up. I like my quarterback to be able to play quarterbacks 1, 2, 3.
Down the stretch, I thought he played pretty well. And George Pickens, he got weapons, man. Pickens and Deontay Johnson and Jalen Warren and Najee Harris and Darnell Washington. They got guys. I was like, okay, this is gonna work, and it didn't.
Steve Wild said Booner owns Easy per Booner. I do, but you know what the truth is about Easy? He calls me a slappy. I have clips of Easy a couple weeks ago saying that the Detroit Lions are contenders, and I know you could say
he's winning right now.
You could change your mind. You could change your mind, but like, hey, at one point you were a slappy and called them a contender. So. I love you too, Easy, though, by the way. Let's go to break, come back, mailbag. We'll get into it. We'll answer any questions. Anything. We'll answer.
Anything.
Maybe, maybe not. All right, Lady Jane's. Come over to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. You can register to win a trip of your dreams, an all-expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is Wicked awesome.
Wicked.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Come hang with the Woodward Sports crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every away game for the official Lions. It's at Eastern Market. It's in Shed 5. We'll be there at some time before the Saints game when they play in 10 days from now. Come join us. We got food. We got entertainment. Everything you need. Just go and register. Get your ticket at bullseyeeventgroup.com. Let's go.
And welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys locking in here Friday night. Thanksgiving. That's day after. I don't know what that word I was looking for. It is officially Christmas time. Make sure if you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. We're at 72. Let's get over 100 here. We need 28 more to go. Make sure you guys hit that real quick before we do mailbag. Nick, show us your jacket.
Yes, sir. Shout out my aunt. Good old little throwback Red Wings.
Princess Peach?
My aunt.
Oh, yeah.
Massive win for the Wings today, beating the Bruins. So just want to shout out the Wings and the jacket. Let's go.
All right, first mailbag thing. This is more of a statement. Detroit Supremacy said, I mean, Booner might own Easy, but I think I have more of a claim to it since he blocked me on Twitter because he couldn't handle any of sports arguments. Easy, we can't be blocking people on Twitter. Come on. We don't block people.
Soft.
Don't block people.
Real quick on the Red Wings, the away fan mailbag, Wings, and I'm gonna send it to you, Nick. Wings did have 2 power play goals today, but the power play has looked stagnant lately. At one point, they were replaced power play coach Alex Tanguay. Great win over Boston today. Highlights a Wood 40 on YouTube. Much love.
This is how I'm trying to learn.
I wouldn't overreact yet.
Okay.
Because they were so good to start the year. So, I mean, maybe a little bit of ups and downs here. I wouldn't overreact yet, but if it continues struggling, I would take a look. And I want to ask the chat, is Patrick Kane a guy that you guys would like to sign? Because we are one of his 5 teams on his short list.
Shout out Patrick Kane.
Interesting.
I'm learning things about hockey. I didn't know there was a power play coach.
I didn't either, actually.
That's interesting.
I knew Alex Tanguay was the coach. I didn't realize
power play
he
coach.
was the power play coach.
Etienne said, why is everybody trying to kill Goff when over the last year and a half he's been one of the least turnover-prone quarterbacks in the NFL? Yeah, Etienne, I think, to be honest, I think there's 2 sides to it. Broder, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks there's an argument to where you can kill him and say, hey, yeah, this is a problem. Something's got to give and you got to fix something.
He leads the NFL in turnovers since entering the league.
Take that away.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about the last 2 years.
I was just saying, that's why it concerns me.
Michael Jordan led the league in missed shots at the end of a game for his entire career. So he's actually not the best player of all time. It's Rodney Stuckey.
Oh, shout out Rodney Stuckey,
yeah.
Where did that?
Shout out Will Bynum.
Never
Rodney
missed.
Stuckey, Will Bynum, Charlie V, 4-3.
Oh, round the room real quick. Mailbag: Home Alone or Home Alone 2, Lost in New York? Explain your answer if you knew it quickly.
Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I like the New York one.
Yeah, New York is great. Also, what is also great is the Detroit Pistons.
No!
They have the lead. It is 101
There's
to
10 minutes left.
And
it's not a win?
28 points.
No, Nick!
Cade Cunningham has 28 points. He's going off looking like
what
a
are we
true
doing?
superstar. We are.
There's gonna be consequences.
We are getting the win. We are getting the win tonight. I had to say it before the show ended. Let's go.
Nick, you did it. Nick, there's got to be consequences. They were suspended.
I told you I was going to give a studio
the Detroit Pistons were suspended from Woodward Nights through Friday.
It's a cool camera. It's an awesome camera.
They were suspended. Yeah, easy said don't jinx them, Nick. That's exact. Nick does these updates and then they lose. I suspended them on Tuesday. 12-game losing streak. Stop. Someone's got to be responsible. Hold the players responsible. Win a game. It's 12 games.
It's 10
12 games.
Does anyone want to read?
Win a basketball game.
Does anyone want to read Steve Lehman's comment? It's not even a mailbag. It's a comment. Okay, I will. Easy and Spenny are kind of like the Quinn Trisha of Woodward Sports Network. They believe they're the smartest ones in their room and nothing else can sway them.
Oh. Whoa. Mailbag. Ryan's Lions. Mailbag. Do the Lions trade Goff in their first to move up to get Bo Nix? What do you guys think?
Oh my God!
To get Bo Nix? No.
Do not give me Bo Nix.
I don't know if that was...
give me
Only way
Bo
you trade him
Nix.
if you have confidence in Hendon Hooker and you can use trading him, get some draft capital back or something back, maybe a defensive player, and use that to then move up in the first round and get a dope offensive lineman or defensive lineman.
Yeah.
How about that?
Let's do 1 or 2 more here because we did say we would go over a little bit just so we can get a couple. Do you see any more?
I don't.
Detroit Sports Tee just got done running. Booner, do not let Easy bully you.
We got a runner?
Let's go. Yeah, he said don't let Easy bully you.
I'm a runner. I'm a tri-star. Let's go, baby. Where is that camera?
Where is that camera?
Oh, this one. It's the Booner cam. I can turn it.
Oh.
So I can go like this.
What is happening to our show?
That's so cool. And there's Boone.
Look at that. The zoom out too.
Lucas is electric.
Have mercy.
All right, that'll be it. I don't think we have any more. I did see Easy actually put one in here and said something about mailbag. I'm sorry. Mailbag, does being a slappy come with... Oh, I'm not going to say that. Come on, dude. This is a kid-friendly show.
Where's it at? Who said it?
I don't know. All right, we're going to go get out of here, though. It is hope you guys have a great weekend. Tomorrow, the game, Ohio State versus Michigan. Make sure you guys tune into that. Let's go Blue. Hey, let's get a win over here. Lucas, I hope your coach gets fired. He's a scumbag. No one likes him. Third base. He's a loser.
I'm agreeing with all the words you're saying.
Hope on the way home
tomorrow.
Yep, I hope on the way home tomorrow he gets fired and we never hear of Ryan Day again.
We can break bread on that. Even if Ohio State wins, fire the man.
All right, appreciate you guys all locking in. Go Blue. We will see you guys on Monday, 8 p.m. Make sure you guys come tune back in, 8 to 10 p.m. We'll be talking Lions, maybe some Pistons. They'll be off suspension. Love you guys. Have a great weekend.
Cheers, my G's.